if I record this. I know we missed the
Yeah.
first problem, but this way I can send you the recording later today.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, so yes, always counterclockwise, always.
Okay.
Unless, and I should clarify that, counterclockwise if it's a positive angle measurement. So, for example, a rotation of positive 90 degrees would be counterclockwise, but if I said to rotate it negative 90, then it would be clockwise.
Okay. Yes. That's okay. That makes sense.
All right, so
So,
let's go ahead.
oh, cool.
No, you go.
So like, if something's rotating like negative 90 degrees and something's rotating like 270 degrees, those are the same. Like, it'll be the same.
Exactly. It is
Okay.
exactly the same. Perfect. That's awesome.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's look at this next one here. Guess I gotta grab the pointer before I can hit return. All right, now can you see that problem okay? Is that
Yes, I
coming up
can.
clear? Okay. All right, so it says here, it says the square A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, D double prime is the final image after you went through this. Okay?
Okay.
So now it's asking you, well, what was the original value of x? So basically what you have to do is undo it. So let's talk about what would happen. If you had any point xy and you first rotated it 90 degrees, which is what you would do first, it would
Yeah.
become y negative x, correct?
Correct.
Then if you did a translation of 4 to the left, then you would be taking that negative y and subtracting 4.
Okay. Yes.
And then you would be going 1 down, so you would be taking x minus 1. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, so if I take the coordinate, so this is where my b double prime is. So my coordinates, or actually they want a.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's what my a double prime would be. Now in this example here, the coordinates of a double prime are negative 5, negative 3. Do you agree?
I agree.
All right, so if we take negative 5 and we set it equal to negative y minus 4, and you understand how I came up with this, correct?
Yes. That's the transformations that were given.
Correct, correct. So then I end up with, I add 4, I get negative 1 equals y. So y is equals negative y. So y is equal to 1.
Okay.
Now at that point, you could just eliminate all the other choices.
Yes.
Or if you were more comfortable, you could set the other equation, x minus 1 equal to negative 3, and you'll notice you'll get x equals negative 2.
Sure. Okay. Let me think real quick.
Sure, take a minute to look at that problem.
Okay. So could you not have just like, so you had the points
Go
negative
ahead.
5, 3. Could you have not have just like switched it and then like just subtracted like 4, I mean like added 4 to the y and then you like added 1 to the x? Like do the opposite?
You could have worked backwards, yes.
Okay.
Yes, you could have done it that way as well.
Okay.
Was that good?
Yes.
Okay. And that's really what I did, just doing it algebraically with all the steps, that's all.
Okay.
Can you still hear me? Every once in a while you're muffled.
Oh, really? Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, just making sure. All right, so here's our next problem. Can you see that problem as well?
Yes.
Okay, it says write a rule that describes the composition, and this is the first time they've actually used this term composition, but composition means when you have these two transformations that take place.
Okay.
All right, so the question is, how do you think that you got from this is your image, JKL. So how did you get to J double prime, K double prime, L double prime? Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I feel as if the best way to do this is you have to kind of look at what your options are.
Mhm.
And what I think you did was the idea of this is the problem answer that you picked. You just went backwards again
Yeah.
because you forgot that the rotation is the one that has to come first.
Yes. Wait. Yes.
To, yes. So, like if I took this and I rotated it 90 degrees, right, then it would be located here.
Mhm.
And then I slid it and did the
Yes.
translation.
Okay. Yes. I just mixed it up, I guess.
Right, and that sounds like that was something that happened earlier on the assignment earlier, is that you just switched them.
Yes.
You were just doing them in the reverse order.
Mhm.
Would you agree?
I would agree.
Okay. Now, I believe that those were all the questions. Oh, there was one more question that you missed. It's this one here. I just didn't have time to cut it out before I called you. So we can look at that one too.
Okay.
Can you see that question okay?
Yes.
Very similar. It's asking you to write the composition of these two transformations. So again, remember you're going to start with this image here. That's your PSRQ. So how
Mhm.
do you get from here to this point here? Are you rotating, translating, or reflecting? How do I get from P, Q, R, S to P double prime, Q double prime, R double prime, S double prime?
I think you're rotating it.
You're rotating it, and what point are you rotating it around?
Q.
Pardon me?
Is it around Q?
It is. So that eliminates the first choice and the last choice. Does that make sense? Or, I'm
Yes.
sorry, not the last choice, the third choice.
Okay.
Ah, okay. So that leaves us with these two choices, correct?
Correct.
All right. So then how do you think I got from P double prime, Q double prime to double prime?
I think you flipped it across line S.
A line
Wait, no,
L.
line L. Line L.
Okay, so it's a reflection. So that's why your answer choice should have been B.
Okay. Because reflection. Okay, I get it. I get it.
Because remember, your rotation you do first, so it shows up second
Yes.
in that option.
Makes sense.
Okay, do you feel a little bit better about
I
that?
feel so much better.
Okay, so let's just talk a little. I know you and I have already talked once before about your progress report, etc. So now what I'll do is I'll release this quiz so you can do it again, okay?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. I know your mom had concerns about like a face-to-face teacher, but I think that you have just missed a little bit of, like, maybe you stopped because you didn't understand, and I hope you realize now that I can help you move forward.
Yes, I do realize now.
Okay, but I just need to know. Like, I'm not going to hound you until you haven't worked for like a couple days. But with that said, I do need you to kind of like keep going. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, so here's what I need you to do for me. I You're kind of behind in the geometry, so I want you to work the best that you can this week. But if you fall into another stumbling block, I want you to make sure that you call me right away so we can move you forward.
Okay, I will.
All right. Okay, then I am going to, and I'm going to apologize because I know this recording is going to have all this vacuuming in the back of it.
You're fine.
Um, I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to send you a copy of the video so that you can look at it again if you want to prior to taking your quiz. How's that sound?